Brad Mullen here with UnwiredView.com, and we're going to be taking a look inside the box of the Samsung Nexus S. This one is the sequel to the Nexus 1. And you're thinking, man, they should have probably just called it the Nexus 2. I know they were thinking the same thing, but to throw a curveball, they thought, no, we got to be like Galaxy S. So they made it Nexus S. Okay, that's just a theory. I really don't know if they were having meetings about that, trying to figure out how to name it. Well, that's besides the point. What we're going to do is we're going to take a look inside. This here is a collaboration of Samsung and Google, and they were working to make a good developer's phone that has Gingerbread on it, also known as Android version 2.3. So we're going to take a look to see what they did with it. So here we have the Nexus S. This is the next in the lineup for Nexus, following up from the Nexus 1. You might think, why didn't they just name it Nexus 2? I don't know. That's okay. We shouldn't really be worried about that because, frankly, there's more important things to focus on, like the actual phone itself. So, one reason I believe they named it the Nexus S is, as you can tell, it's a very similar logo, if not the actual exact same S as you would find on the Galaxy S lineup. So, ultimately, it's actually very, very similar to the Galaxy S lineup. The only major differences are that it runs vanilla Android instead of the TouchWiz interface, which a lot of people are very happy with. And it also comes with 2.3, which is also known as Gingerbread on there. So there we have the phone in and of itself. How cute. XS. I get it. So with the 2.3 Gingerbread system, what that means is it's also going to have the ability to do near-field communications. Now we're going to talk about that more in detail on the review itself. So we're not going to worry too much about that today. So looking at this thing, one other key difference on this is that it's got a little bit of a curve to it. So crazy thing is that this is the same display you would see on the Galaxy S, only curvaceous. So, yep. So let's go in here, check out what else is in the box. So we see we got the T-Mobile stuff, very nice. Gonna be able to use this on T-Mobile's network. And then we also have the cable, micro USB, which is standard fare now. And then of course the wall charger. Okay, very nice. And headphones. That's not something that you see every single time, so I'm glad to see that in there. Alright. That was awesome. Oh yeah, user manuals. Blah, blah, blah. Who cares? Really, who reads those things anyways? User manuals. Okay. So we're going to go in. Oh, apparently this thing is already on. Well, that's handy. And it has very little battery life on it. Awesome. So we're just going to do some really, really quick basic looks at this. So just on the outside, I do find it quite interesting to see that the curved display. In theory, just looking at this thing, it does make it more comfortable to hold it up to your ear just by having that curve there. So we got the power button. We've got the micro USB. You can't really see that from this angle. And then your volume. There's really not much to this, frankly. So, and then on this one, let's zoom in a little bit. Whoops. Zoom in, I tell you. Zoom in. So, on this one we have the same four touch-sensitive buttons you would see on the Galaxy S, except they're in a completely different lineup. So you got Home over here, Search is over here, the Options menu, and then the Go Back. So that's going to take me a little getting used to, actually. Looking at this thing here. Okay, so having it be the 2.3 Gingerbread, you know what, let's actually take that off. That's getting in the way. Okay. So just looking at this thing, all the basics. One great thing about having this be pure Android without having any user interface added on or any carrier specific settings in there, so you don't have to worry about bloatware. It's going to come with the basic, essential stuff, you know, the stuff that's going to be most important to us. And then if you want to go into the market, certainly you can add more into there. Also looking here, just kind of looking at the differences in the user interface, especially compared to that of the Galaxy S lineup. So now this thing has a gigahertz Hummingbird processor. Again, same specs as the Galaxy S. We have 5 screens on there at the moment. I can go in, and you can tell just by doing the little scrolling test, going back and forth, really there's no lag at all, no sluggishness really, and that's really nice to have. So when we go into the review itself, we're going to go in more depth on exactly how that processor handles, but overall this is a little bit about the Nexus S, just upon first looking at it. Overall, I'm liking how this thing feels. And inadvertently, you just got to look at how exactly the thing turns off, because now it has no battery. So, just to completely wrap up here, with that curved display, I can imagine this is going to be pretty nice to feel on my ear. And then just in my hands, it's about the same as any of the other Galaxy S phones, frankly. Nothing really to it. Oh, one other key difference on this one that you didn't see on the Galaxy S is the frontward-facing camera. Let's see if I can get the right angle there. There we go. Yeah, so you got the VGA frontward-facing camera for video chatting. So very nice to have. Okay, so overall, that is the unboxing of the Nexus S with Samsung. We're going to go into more detail, like I said before, with the full review. So be anticipating that, because I certainly am. In fact, I can't wait to get my hands even more on this. I was going to say get my hands on it, but I just barely did, and that would just contradict myself. Get my hands more on it and play around with it, and just give me a few days and I'll be able to tell you exactly how I felt about the Nexus S. Thanks for joining me. This is Brad with Unwired View. Looking forward to seeing you at our site.